Yeah, this is the last photo that we have of Ben. He had just got out of the hospital that day, finally got home and got to snuggle with his boy.
Ben Price was a husband, father of two, business owner, and a farmer. He juggled it all with what his family called a boisterous energy.
Just a larger-than-life person, extremely outgoing, very intentional in all of his relationships.
More than 1 million people have been hospitalized with COVID-19. But when Ben returned home after treatment, he wasn't the same person.
What stood out to you specifically when he came home?
I would be holding his hand and he'd be like, I'm just so scared. I'm so scared. And I would be like, what are you scared about? What is it? And he couldn't even really pinpoint what it was, but he just was very panicked and just not himself. He was pacing the house and going from window to window and just was really nervous about things that just weren't even an issue. He was anxious and panicked, but at the time, we just, COVID brain fog.
He was prescribed anti-anxiety medication, but just days after Ben came home, he took his own life. Jennifer is now looking into a new phenomenon doctors are calling COVID psychosis, a rare but real case for an estimated 1 to 4% of patients.
There is an emerging pattern, and the pattern seems to be a pretty marked change in a person who may not have had psychiatric problems before, and a set of emotional symptoms like distress, along with, impaired sense of reality. We call that psychosis, hence the term COVID psychosis.
A similar thing was seen during the 1918 Spanish flu, a virus infiltrating the brain, resulting in neurological symptoms.
We are looking at a relatively new set of problems, but we've always known that viruses can trigger changes in the brain that can lead to things like COVID psychosis.
So when you say trigger things in the brain, that's different than just a reaction of someone's trauma or experience dealing with the virus. It's an actual potential change in the brain because of the virus.
The simple story is yes.
Currently, there's little data about COVID psychosis, though new studies are starting to emerge, which may help doctors identify symptoms.
So if your COVID recovery is going well, but some other symptom is getting worse, well, that doesn't make sense. Things like if a person stops sleeping, that's unusual. If they stop eating, if they stop enjoying things that they used to enjoy, and, of course, if they're saying things that they usually wouldn't say. Those would be all reasons, to talk to them, call your primary care doctor right away.
It's impossible to know what Ben had, whether it was COVID psychosis, depression caused by his hospital stay, or otherwise. But family and friends believe this situation was a result of the disease.
It had to be linked to COVID. There was no question in our minds about that. There was no way. He loved life so much.
A lot of times we would talk and he would say, God, Eric, we are so lucky. We have great families, we have great kids, we have great wives.
If you had known what you know now, what would you have done differently?
I would have known that his behavior was more than just fog, and would have gotten him to the Mayo Clinic or somewhere that was already looking at the neurological effects of COVID, and just shown up on the doorstep and said, we're here, we need to see someone. I wouldn't have let him out of my sight because I would have known that he was unpredictable because of more than just having some COVID brain fog.
Jennifer says now she's working to spread awareness via the Illinois governor's office and even the White House to prevent other families from going through what hers did.
Losing my husband, losing a dad this way is so devastating. What do you think? You think Daddy's gonna talk to you? Do you think Daddy's gonna talk to you? Huh? It brings some comfort just knowing that it was beyond him, and he didn't leave us, but COVID took him from us.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.